Today's Heart to Heart is going to talk a little bit about my lifelong desire to be plain. When my mother and father were young children, they lived a very plain life. In fact, my mother didn't even want to drive a vehicle. That's how plain they were. My mother wore the cape dresses and she wore the bonnets. And my father was from a large family who lived very frugal and very plain as well. But when they got married, they left the plain church, and my mother no longer wore her covering, and they were what you would call more liberal Mennonite, and then they left the Mennonite church altogether for a non-denominational church. But all my life, I always liked the plain lifestyle. I always thought it would be fun and would be encouraging to dress plain and live plain. And then I married a farm boy whose family came from similar backgrounds, but his mother no longer wore her covering either, but they continued to go to the plain church. So, through the years, I thought often about having my head covered and how I would love to dress in skirts and be more plain. But how do you incorporate a plain lifestyle in a situation where it's not considered normal? And this is something I have struggled for many, many years, and I'm still at the point where I would like to live more plainer. Everything in my life, except for the way I dress, is plain. I live by the plain rules. I live very frugal. My home looks plain, but not my clothing. And so this is an area where I have not found all the answers. So this video is not going to tell you that I found the answer for all of my life's questions on this subject. This is kind of just a diary of my thoughts of the subject, and who knows by next year where I will be. But I have decided while I am home, I will cover my head. And for me, it's all about baby steps, and you can't expect change to happen overnight, and it usually doesn't. In fact, they say the quicker you change in something, the quicker you're going to revert back to the old way. So I think for now, at home and on my YouTube is my world. It's my life. It's where I can open the door or open the window to everyone to show them my life, my struggles, my daily walk with the Lord, and the things that I am learning. And I feel very at ease and very at home with having my head covered, and it's very much something I have always desired, but it's just something that is not expected of me, and it's not considered acceptable maybe in the circle of the people that I deal with on a daily basis. So for now, this is what I'm going to be doing. I would like to incorporate more skirts in my life, and so if you see my head covered, it's just something I have always wanted to do, and at age 47 I decided it's just something I'm going to do now at home. So I won't always have my head covered, and I hope people understand that it's just something that I am pursuing. And I think it's a little bit like homesteading, and I'm going to use that kind of to branch out this conversation a little. Somebody said to me, well, they can't do this and they can't do that, so why bother? And my situation is this, that do what you can do and leave the rest to the Lord. And with homesteading, some people say all or nothing, and I just don't see it that way. I've had a little criticism, not much, on my off-grid, and people say, well, you are on-grid. Yes, I am, but I choose not to use it. Yes, I am not a Mennonite as far as my dress, but I like to have my head covered, and I believe in the Mennonite traditions. Not all, and we don't believe in all of everything, in my opinion. There is no one person or one faith or one lifestyle that you are going to be 100% always agreeable on. That's just life. And while you love everything about it, there are some things that you don't agree or you don't like about it. And the same with everyone you are around. You love your children, you love your husband, you love the people you're around, but there are some things you just don't care for about those people and those things in life. That's just life. So I think with homesteading, people need to take a step back and just do what they can do. If you're a homesteader and you have a microwave, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. If you are a homesteader and have a TV, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I choose not to have such items, and I think that people need to tear down the walls of judgment and judging people that if they don't live to this certain way of life, they're then not considered that kind of person, and it's just so way from the truth. I just am really passionate about accepting people and accepting so what, they're on maybe on the small part of the ladder, in the ladder of success and the ladder of homesteading, but we all are reaching a goal, and no one is totally self-sufficient. I don't care what they say, no one is totally, in this day and age, self-sufficient. But that doesn't mean we don't try. And there are people that are close to it, and there are people that are not close at all. But in this lifestyle, I think there's so many YouTube channels out there that are so judgmental, and so they preach. It's like they're preaching that if you're not all organic, well then you're not this. And if you're not all into solar, well then you're not this. Or if you're not all into doing it this way or doing it that way, you haven't reached it yet. And I just think that we need to all step back and we need to all accept each other and the road that we're on. And so that leaves me with my head covering, and I'm finally finding enough of courage to come out there and say, hey, I look like this today. Maybe tomorrow my head won't be covered, but this is something I would like to do, and I would like to incorporate this more in my life, and I'm taking baby steps and I am learning. So if you see something on my YouTube channel and you don't 100% agree with it, that's okay. I know somebody complained about the lighting in my videos. Well, I don't have a very expensive camera and I don't have electricity running. So, it is going to be a little darker, and I'm really sorry for that, and, I'm going to try to work on my videos, and you're seeing me just in the raw, my day-to-day life. I don't edit my videos too much, and I don't stage them, so you're going to see some bloopers, I'm sure. But I like the heart-to-hearts, and I've had a lot of feedback. It seems like I get more views on my heart-to-heart videos than any other videos that I do. And I'm really, really thankful, and I feel blessed for that people are taking the time and listening to my ramblings, because I do like to talk, and when you're at home and you're alone, much of the time, there's not a whole lot to talk to, so talking to the animals helps. And I am getting chickens. That was another question. I am going to do a Q&A. I've had chickens for 10 years. And last April, I had a devastation here on the homestead. I've had my chickens in doubled wired fencing. I had baby chicks, and something came in and took them all and ate them. We cannot figure out how in the world these chickens were taken, but they were, and our best bet is either a fox. We don't know how a fox could have got in because they were in a separate cage in a separate pen, or a rat. We're thinking it could have been a rat, but I don't have chickens at the moment. I had some older ones that I gave to my family because I was just so sick over it. It was just a very, very devastating thing to see. But I am getting chickens again, and I missed them. I thought I would never get chickens again after that loss. It was just really traumatic, but I'm getting them again, and so that will be exciting. So I will show them when I get them, and I have some big projects ahead. I think I haven't gone under the mobile home yet because I have to fix something, but we have to go and get some supplies to fix that. That's going to be an extremely scary situation for me because I am claustrophobic, but I have to be the one to do it. My husband has some physical issues where he can't crawl in small spaces that are only 3 feet. He had a severe accident when he was 16 and has a long metal plate in his femur bone, which runs the whole length of his leg, and so it's very hard for him to bend his leg certain ways. So it's up to Tessie to do it, and oh, my camera's going with me on that. So I find great courage in bringing the camera with me because I don't feel quite so alone. Not sure how that helps, but it does. And my next heart-to-heart conversations will be on anxiety. I've had severe anxiety and panic disorder for many years, and it's been about 5 years now. I haven't had any, and I cured them with the Lord's help and homeopathic ways. So I'm really excited to share with you on that. Some homeopathic ideas for anxiety and panic disorder. Anxiety and panic disorder is a chemical imbalance, usually caused in the nervous system, and there are things you can do to really lessen it, and I'm really excited to share that with you all as well. And yeah, so every Sunday, I assume you're starting to see now, every Sunday you will be seeing a video of what is coming up ahead. That's something is kind of unique with my channel. In fact, I hadn't seen it done until I started doing it. A few other people started doing it, but I haven't seen other people do that. So every Sunday will be upcoming videos of the week, and then every Friday will be a sit-down chat with me. Just things that I'm thinking in my life and sharing it with you all. And I had another exciting thing happen to me, which I will probably do a video on. I had someone in my blood family that I've never known before contact me, and this person was on my mother's side, and he happened to have a bunch of photographs of my birth mother that I have never seen, and also photographs of my birth grandpa, which I've never seen, and I was very excited. This came out of the blue, so I am really excited about this. He also gave me documentation that my birth grandpa was in the military, and I have discharge papers and things on that. So at age 47, I am seeing things of my life as a baby that I've never known before, and for the first time in my life, I got to witness and see my birth mother's handwriting. So that was really exciting for me, and I'm not going to start crying about it, but you just never know what you'll find, and I was very, very, very blessed by him that he shared these things with me, because I've not shared often with things from my past, and it's been really exciting for me, and I will show you those photos. You'll see them, because I am very much about history. I love history, and I love the old ways, and so you'll see them. And I learned that my mother went through the same thing, that she did not grow up plain, but she pursued the plain life, and for quite a few years she did live plain before she passed away at age 22. So maybe those feelings are inherited, because I inherited my mother's looks, and I inherited my mother and my father's habits and likes and dislikes. So maybe a lot of this is just inherited, and I just never knew it. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.